Assalamualaikum. A very good day to all. How are you today? I hope you are feeling fantastic. Let's continue with our English language lesson. As usual, let's recite the dua. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Oh Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, is our learning. Bless our knowledge. May the success be in our life. Ameen. So today's skill is writing. The objectives are, at the end of the lesson, you should be able to 1. Rearrange correctly at least 3 sentences based on the plot structure. 2. Write at least 4 correct sentences to complete the story given. Now, I want you to open your textbook, turn to page 149, Unit 15, The Obedient Son. So, do you know what is a plot? A plot is a sequence of events in a story. There are 5 elements: exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. Look at the plot structure below. So today we are going to explore the elements of plots in 2 different stories. But before that, let's explore the 5 elements first. Activity 1. So plot is made up of the problem, important events, and the resolution. The plot is like a roller coaster. We have exposition, the first part of the story, introduces characters and setting. Rising action tells how the main character encounters trouble. Climax is the most exciting part of the story, is the turning point. Falling action tells the next events. And finally, resolution tells the final outcome. So these are 5 elements of a plot. Let's recap. Exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. So, can you identify the element for each of these sentences? Let's read 1. Chakri was confronted by a group of robbers. 2. Chakri taught the robbers a lesson. They repented. 3. A war broke out. They fled from the village. 4. In a village lived the obedient Chakri and his mother. So I know number 4 is the exposition. It introduces the setting and the characters. 5. They repented and looked up to Chakri. So, can you help me to find or to determine another 4 elements? Your task: rearrange the sentences, write today's day and date. Rearrange and write these sentences. I did the first one for you, exposition. So you need to continue with another 4. Send a picture of your completed work to me. All the best. Activity 2. Let's explore another story. Can you still remember Hansel and Gretel? Let's try. Exposition introduces characters and setting. So I am going to give a bit of the story, not the full story, just a bit from each part of the story. So the exposition, for example, once upon a time there lived a very poor woodcutter, his wife and his 2 children. Hansel and Gretel. They lived in a tiny cottage at the end of the village. Rising action tells how the main character encounters trouble. The next morning, Hansel and Gretel were taken to the forest. Children, wait here. Your father and I are going to collect some firewood, said the stepmother. Hansel, however, knew that they would never return. Scared and all alone, Hansel and Gretel walked deeper into the forest. They were cold, hungry, and tired. Suddenly, they saw a beautiful but curious-looking cottage. They ran to the cottage. To their surprise, it was made of chocolates, candies, cakes, and sweets. Hungrily, they gobbled down chocolate bricks from the walls and the candy knob from the door. So this is the rising action. Climax, which is the most exciting part of the story, the turning point of the story. All of a sudden, the door creaked open and an old lady appeared. "Who is eating my house?" asked the lady. "We are sorry," said Hansel and Gretel. Cackling, the old lady replied, "Don't worry, help yourself to whatever you want. Then come inside for a nap," she said. The next day, the old lady put Hansel in a cage and forced Gretel to do the house chores. Hansel and Gretel soon realized she was actually a witch. So this is the climax, the turning point of the story. The following action tells the next event. What happened next? Every day the witch fed Hansel lots of food. She wanted to make him fat, as she planned to eat him. "I will not wait any longer, Gretel. Go and start the fire. I'm going to cook Hansel," shouted the evil witch. So this is the following action. Finally, the resolution tells the final outcome of the story. As the witch moved closer to the oven, Gretel gathered all her strength and pushed her. The witch fell into the oven. "I did it! I did it!" screamed Gretel with great excitement. She rushed to the cage and freed Hansel. Hansel hugged his sister. He was proud of her. She was his hero. Hansel grabbed his sister's hand and they ran towards the door. As they were running out, they stumbled upon a room full of treasure. So you can actually continue the story. So this is the resolution. So now I want you to write about Hansel and Gretel by using these words: exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. So you can use these suggested words to come up with a simple paragraph, 5 short paragraphs. Your task: write the story in paragraphs. Send a picture of your completed work to me. Hansel and Gretel, exposition. So I'm giving you the first one, the first part, exposition. Once upon a time, there lived a poor woodcutter, his wife, and his 2 children, Hansel and Gretel. They lived in a cottage at the end of the village. So this is the exposition. Continue with the rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. All the best.